Good morning. Mike Bowen here, Southern California Edison Supplier Diversity. Today we have a very important person here at our GE and SCE DBE Symposium. Mike Peevey, Commissioner of the CPUC, or I should say President of the CPUC. Wanted to allow him to say a few words about the event.
Well, I think this is a great event. I really applaud Edison bringing GE in and talking about all this and bringing in so many different disabled veterans firms and minority firms and women-owned businesses and expanding their role in the Edison framework and business. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we appreciate your time here. Can you say a little bit about how this may impact future involvement with DBEs and what you'd like to see as a result?
Well, we want to continue to see this program grow and expand, and not only with Edison, but with other utilities in the state of California. The kind of program like you had today can only enhance that effort and that outcome. So I think it's very, very important for the company to do exactly what it's doing today, having this kind of meeting out here in the City of Industry.
Great, Mr. Peevey, appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
We are very excited today to have for our keynote speaker the President to the California Public Utilities Commission, Mike Peevey. Mr. Peevey was appointed President of the California Public Utilities Commission by Governor Gray Davis on December 31st, 2002, having been originally appointed to the CPUC by Governor Davis in March of 2002. And in December of 2008, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger reappointed Mr. Peevey to the CPUC for another 6-year term. From 1995 until 2000, Mr. Peevey was president of New Energy Incorporated. Prior to that, Mr. Peevey was president of Edison International and Southern California Edison Company, and a senior executive there beginning in 1984. He has served on the boards of numerous corporations and nonprofit organizations. Mr. Peevey has received many awards recognizing his leadership in developing energy policy and promoting recognition of California's diverse population, including a Distinguished Citizen Award from the Commonwealth Club of California for achievements in green and sustainable energy in 2007. He also received the Pat Brown Legacy Award in 2003, was named Man of the Year by the Power Association of Northern California, recognized with the Climate Action Champion Award by the California Climate Action Registry in 2004, and leadership recognition from the American Council for Energy Efficiency in 2005, and the California Solar Energy Initiatives Association in 2006. Mr. Peevey holds a Bachelor and Master of Arts degrees in economics from the University of California at Berkeley, and we are very excited to have him with us today. Mike, thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody, and I hope I will entertain you and give you some insights from our perspective at the PUC. Let me say, does anybody here, there's quite a few young people in the room, does anybody here remember Gray Davis? I saw some hands go up. They have to be at least 40, right, to remember Gray. It seems like, it's been a long time. I've been at the Public Utilities Commission since March of 2002. I scratch my head. I never planned to be there that long, you know? And every time I say I'm about ready to leave, then somebody like Sam Kang or Gwen Moore says, "Oh, you can't go, we're going to give you an award." You got to stay a little longer, we'll give you an award. No, anyway, it's a real pleasure to be here. When I was at Edison, we used to have a lot of meetings at this hotel. I think it was called something else at the time. What? The Sheridan? Yeah. Right, and the then CEO of Edison, this is back before I became president, Howard Allen, he liked this place because he thought it was cheap. Joe Alderman was laughing. He can remember these things. And because Howard lived nearby, so it was very convenient for him. But we used to have these late night poker games and all this kind of stuff here. It was a very interesting time, those days. So let me be serious for a few minutes and say the following. This is the second time I've spoken at one of these events. The first time was with San Diego Gas and Electric and GE, and we talked about things that you're all talking about today, and I hope GE will be doing this with PG&E. I'm sure they will. I want to recognize GE, General Electric, for not only partnering with Edison to make it today, but also moving forward and recognizing supplier diversity is a key factor to more contracts awarded to GE and hopefully just shareholder value for GE. And I go back a long time with GE, well, not so much personally, but believe it or not, where are the GE people in the room today? Put your hands up. Yeah. My father was a union organizer, organized Schenectady and Erie, Pennsylvania plants at General Electric for the United, at that time it was the UE, it's long gone, United Electrical Workers Union. So I didn't always have a real positive attitude toward GE. Because I used to hear all these stories, but that's a long time back. So, and the company, is a great, incredibly great company, and has managed to stay at the forefront of American business and industrial life. If you go back to the year 1900 and look at like the equivalent of what was the Fortune 500, you'll see GE was one of the top corporations. And over 110 years later, it's still one of the top corporations. There's hardly any others that has survived all that time. So it shows a tremendous corporate culture that's adaptable and not only survived new products, but is adaptable to change. And what we're talking about today here is about change and adaptability in the face of a changing environment in which we all live and work and play in. I also have to say about Edison that it's made great strides over the past couple of years in increasing procurement from diverse suppliers. I used to frown on my old company a little bit. You can't make them give us all the data they want. But the combination of somebody kind of scoring you and the challenge of coming before myself and my colleagues and telling how you're doing, you'd be surprised how that enhances behavior. It really boosts things. And I think that's just wonderful. So we've got to keep this up. We're going to keep this up. And I just hope that it becomes so institutionalized when I do eventually leave the Public Utilities Commission that it'll continue without a hitch. Okay? So I'm happy to answer any questions. It's a pleasure to be with you here. I have to go out to Riverside from here because the U.S. Department of Commerce is opening up a minority business development office there, and I told him I'd come out and say a few words there to help kick it off with some of the local politicians in Riverside County. But I'm happy to answer questions for a few minutes if you'd like before I run down to the 60 freeway and go east. Anybody? You must have all either liked what I said or I know I didn't put you to sleep because I could see all you have your eyes open. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you on behalf of New World Environmental. We were one of the companies that Ron Litzinger mentioned at the AMBA, and San Onofre Nuclear Generating Station has been instrumental in helping us succeed at San Onofre.
Well, that's great to hear. That's a living example. We can put you Edison, why don't you make an ad out of this? You already have. Okay, anyone else? Again, I applaud all of you, the commitments and all. I see disabled veterans here. Okay, and it's just wonderful to see all of you and this kind of commitment. Yes, sir.
I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania for several years.
You what?
I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania for several years, so if you live there as an employee, I'm sure you can appreciate a January day like this. My question is, relative to the CPUC, you set the guidelines, you set the goals, you're the champion for that. How does that translate into the way in which you manage the utilities? The various ways that you approve rates or those things.
Schwarzenegger, you remember him, right? And he's retired to the movies again, I guess. And now we have Jerry Brown. This is the second incarnation of Jerry Brown. He was governor once before. I remember, some of you wouldn't. Remember him either. Gwen, do you remember Jerry? All right. God bless you all.
So good afternoon, Mike Bowen again, Supplier Diversity from Southern California Edison. We had a great event today. In fact, it's still ongoing behind us. We're doing one-on-one sessions throughout the afternoon until about 5 o'clock. I've sat through a few of them personally and think we're really driving a lot of value in terms of making the right connections. And when we're talking about connections, we're talking about GE connections on their Tier 2 subcontracting commitment with Edison, as well as opportunities within Edison as well. So today we had the opportunity of hosting a number of very keynote speakers from various backgrounds, including President Peevey from the Commission. Walter Rhodes was in attendance and shared a few words from Edison, as well as one of our advanced technology managers, Stuart Timpson, in addition to the SCM BDC and other important diverse business representatives. So really what we're trying to drive today is making that connection to support our Tier 2 commitment and really try and bolster activity in the area. And right here we have Terrence Frierson, who's our program manager for our Edison SCE Supplier Diversity Subcontracting and Commitment Program. So if that wasn't a long enough title for you, I'd like him to say a few words about the event and how that's going to help him.
Thanks, Mike. I echo everything that Mike said. This is a great opportunity to connect with our prime suppliers and other suppliers in delivering value to diverse business enterprises throughout the state of California. As we know, we do a lot of business with different companies across California, across the country actually, and anytime that we can facilitate bringing suppliers together to create opportunities for them that also deliver opportunities or value back to our state, it's a win-win for everyone that's involved. So we're looking forward to hosting more events like this with our suppliers and again, continuing to deliver great value to our state, to our company, and to our suppliers.